with you maybe why I'm feeling this way, but I can't help but feel like we just need a little bit of an injection of like silliness, of fun, of just trying things and seeing how we go. So that's kind of what we're going to do in our practice today. I was spending a little bit of time with a good friend of mine over the weekend, and bless him, he's got a very, very heavy manual labour job, but he's only my age, roughly, so he's in his early to mid-30s, and every single time he goes to get up, he pushes on his thighs to get up. And every time he does it, I just look at him like, that's going to have to change. Otherwise you're going to be an old man and not even be able to get up of your own volition. You know, you're going to need something to help. And that got me thinking about how we move, how we navigate movement, and how we get stuck in ruts of movement, doing things the same way. We've got a bit of our brain back here called the cerebellum, which is responsible for movement function and balance. And when we work in new and different ways, when we challenge the body in new and different ways, we activate that cerebellum and create new neural pathways of movement. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. A bit sciencey, bit fun and frivolous, kind of mixed together. And we're going to do this hands-free. So we're going to do a yoga class, with the hands not ever touching the floor or our own body. You bring the hands together, maybe do something a little more subtle with your hand energy, but they're not going to support, they're not going to grip, they're not going to hold in any way whatsoever. So we will start with sweeping the feet round to the right side. So coming into mermaid pose. And just allowing the backs of your hands to rest onto your knees. So this lovely Hasta Mudra, this open palm of the hands, is exactly that, a sign of openness, of willingness. If someone were to reach a hand out to you with an upturned palm, you'd know that they were reaching out because they loved you, they wanted to help you. So it's just having that openness, that willingness to try something new and different. And just begin to think about some of the areas of the body that you perhaps skip over, that you don't use as much as you possibly could. And just noticing how the hips feel here, maybe adding a wiggle in the toes, a bit of dexterity through the toes. And then just taking a moment to breathe a little bit more length up through the spine. You're going to take a deep breath in, floating those arms up to the sky. And really lift and open the chest. Let the arms sweep up and back. Then circling the arms out and almost bringing your fingertips to touch, roughly in line with your belly button, as you scoop your spine to the wall behind you. Real curved hunch in the back. And inhaling as you lift and rise all the way up, chest lifts nice and high. Then rounding and curling over and through. Once more, just like that. Building a little bit of speed. And then inhaling as you rise all the way up. I'm going to take a side body stretch to the right. So really leaning into that same way we would want to lean over and down, but just really pick that right arm up nice and high. Inhale, coming back to center, twist the chest to the right, reaching your left hand forwards and your right hand back behind you. Inhale, come back to center. We're going to go through that flow twice more, swaying over. Inhale, come back to center and twist. And then taking a deep breath in as you lift. And we're going to find a squeeze of the butt cheeks. Feel free to do a little clench in the hands here, like you're holding onto some invisible ropes. And lift up onto your knees, your shins, and your feet. Find that squeeze and that rise all the way up. Then do one more twist to the right. Open the chest, let the arms come down to rest. And then when you're ready, sweep your left foot behind you and sit down into a kneeling position. Feel free to shimmy those legs and knees a bit closer together. Breathing the arms up, finding that cat-cow curve, but a more exaggerated version of it as you lift. And then scoop the hands towards the knees to really curve the back to the wall behind you. Twice more, inhaling, scoop and lift, exhaling, hug and round. Really drawing back, create that C shape from the shoulders to the knees. And inhaling, as you rise and lift, sweep the feet round to the left and sit in mermaid pose on the other side. Breathing those arms up nice and high. We're going to find our side body stretch to the left first. Keeping that bottom arm really high, coming back to center to twist. Opening to the left, arms sweeping out, up. Exhale, over. Coming back to twist. Once more, just like that. And then inhaling as you come all the way back to center again. Feel free to hold on to those invisible ropes that help you squeeze and lift. Really squeeze those butt cheeks together behind you as you open the arms round and down to twist. And really feel like there's a magnetism in your thighs. They really want to squeeze in together. Take a deep breath in, sweep that right foot back and sit back to your heels. Again, feel free to wiggle those knees slightly closer together. We're going to breathe the arms up to the sky. This is about as close to child's pose as we'll get today. Leaning forwards and sweeping the arms up and back behind you. And just let your forehead hover just off of the floor. And take a deep breath in as you lift, sweeping nice and high. And we're going to lift up into a tall kneeling position. Hands at shoulder height and shoulder width actually. So take a deep breath in to lift, and as you exhale, reach your shoulders back so you make a Z shape with your body. Then come all the way back to center. So we immediately start to awaken the front of those thighs, the quads. Floating back, peel your right arm back into a twist and then tilt it. Drop that right hand, lift that left hand. So you're in a kind of wiggly Z shape. Then inhale as you come all the way back to center to lift. Exhale, sit back to the heels, arms up and back, head forwards. Inhaling, rise back into that lift, hands to shoulder height. Drop it back into your Z shape. Then sweep it back to center. Back into the Z, ready for the left hand to peel back into a twist and tilt it. Take that left hand down, lift that right hand up in that reach back. Then sweep through, forwards and up. Sway down, over and back with the arms. Inhaling as you roll, curving up through the spine. Sit to the heels, coming into a low seated position. Take a big, beautiful deep breath in and sigh. Let those shoulders release. I've got a little bit of a theory as to why we have growing arm, shoulder, neck, upper back tension. And I think it's because as human beings, it's much easier for us to do things with our arms and not necessarily using more of our abdominal muscles, using our glute muscles. I know I'm guilty of not using my glutes when I walk. So when I do, I sort of access this extra speedy walk. But I've got this feeling that we use the arms so much, it's just easier instead of engaging through the abdominal muscles. So we'll put that to the test a little bit. If you want to come up to a tall kneel again, and right at the back of the mat, tap the toes. I find because we're transferring the weight a little bit here, bring the knees and the inner thighs really close together so you've got less of a way to sway as you transfer. So you're going to take a deep breath in. Arms can stay beside you just so they can relax. And we're going to start to sweep. So transfer your weight into your left leg. And when you're ready, trace a line with your right toes as you begin to slide that foot forwards and let it bring you into your lunge. Let those hips travel forwards, and then when you're ready, do the same in reverse. Try and lighten that leg as much as you can as you trace a line all the way back and underneath. You're going to do that twice more with that same leg, right leg sweep. This time, see if you can get a little bit of air underneath that foot. Whoa, as you bring it forwards and down. As always, we embrace the wobbles. That's our cerebellum kicking in and going, hang on a minute, what are we doing? So just feeling that, sweeping through. One more time, just to bring the leg forwards this time. Again, see if you can make it a bit like a moonwalk, like a big airy step as you come forwards and lift the arms up this time. Now feeling your Anjaneyasana, your low crescent lunge. How do you feel? Reach it forwards, bring the belly in contact with the thigh. And then when you're ready, circle the arms down to the floor as you push into the right foot. Try and keep the toes on the floor as well. It's slightly weird, but it's a good weird. Sweeping those arms back and lift through the head and the heart. Find that push through the right toes and the ball of the foot. Then if you want to, maybe rock back onto that right heel. Allow that to bring a little more lift up through the body. Take a deep breath in. Then exhale, come forwards. This is the tricky bit. We would normally plant the hands here. If you need to, of course, please do. But we're going to tuck the back toes and lift the back knee to come up into our high lunge. So press, squeeze and lift, rising all the way up. Then step that back foot forwards to the front foot and come into your forward fold, arms sweeping up and back behind you. Taking that deep breath in, and when you're ready, bend down through, forwards and up into lightning bolt pose. Feel that power, that energy, that zigzag. And then when you're ready, let the hands come down. Keep bending into the knees, so much so you have to lift your heels up and come into a little floating frog squat. So feel that lift up through the abdominals, all the way up through the spine. Nice long lifted back. I find this very difficult, but start to lower the heels to the floor, sit the hips back, and counterbalance by reaching your hands forwards so you can come into a seated position. I always roll, literally always. I can't not roll. So if you feel left out, roll. Then planting the feet down, sweep those arms up and lift and drift back. A little bit like what we did in our Z shape. Peel that right arm back to twist and then tilt. Go a little bit further back. Right hand lowers. Then inhaling as you sweep, lift back to center. Then when you're ready, left arm does the same. Twist. And then tilt. So feeling that tilt back. Then sweep through, forwards and up. Sway back. Keep the hands nice and high. And lift lightly onto the toes, like pitter-patter. Lift the right foot up. Switch, lift the left foot up. And see how it feels to lift both. Take a deep breath in. Find that same shape of Navasana, but without the hold. When you're ready, take a deep breath in. Sweep the feet round to the same side. Come back up into your tall kneeling position. And then walk to the back of the mat. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze through those butt cheeks. Lift and lengthen up through the spine. Squeeze the thighs and knees together. So we're going to go left foot this time. Tracing that line of the toes forwards. Use the mat. Feel the texture of the mat. And then sweep through. Then sweeping back. Trace the toes through and back to kneeling. Inhaling as you lift. Whoa. So you can get a little bit more air under the foot this time as you sweep forwards. And then coming all the way in and back. One more time. Make this like a big moon step. Right. Woo! And then come forwards into your lunge. Let those arms sweep up with you. And just feeling that difference in the legs. Feeling that connection. Reach forwards, belly to the thigh. Then sweeping those arms all the way up and back behind you and sway back into your half Hanuman pose, your Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, keep pushing into the sole of the left foot and the toes. Feel the stretch in the back of the leg. Then maybe lift the foot, peeling the toes and the sole of the foot off the floor. Give your body a little bit more space to lift through, forwards and up. It's less of a stretch, more of an activated lengthening. And then take a deep breath in as you come forwards. We're going to tuck the back toes. Push into the floor to squeeze and lift that back leg up, finding high lunge with a lift of the arms to the sky. And again, step your back foot to your front foot and dive forwards, arms up and back behind you. Now, of course, we're not going to interlace, but really reach those hands nice and close together. Inhale. Then bending down to sweep forwards and up through into your lightning bolt pose. And then when you're ready, standing up. Let those hands release down beside you. And close the eyes for a moment. Really feeling your legs, your feet. We talk about dexterity in the hands and the arms, but never so much in the legs or the feet. But start to feel that. If you wiggle the toes, what happens? What ripples of movement come up through the legs? When you're ready, stay at the top of the mat and bring your feet nice and close together. And really squeeze those feet in. We're going to lift the right heel and open the right knee out to the side. So start in your grounded tree pose. Your right toes and ball of the foot are on the floor directly next to your left foot, and your right heel is resting on your left shin. Breathing the arms all the way up and out, nice and wide to the side, and then close your eyes. A grounded tree pose, very much about finding the roots of your balance. So feeling that lift, feeling that gentle sway. I often feel a little bit like a whomping willow tree here. And then when you're ready, see how it feels to bring that foot up to the calf muscle, but blink your eyes open. So you find that little bit more lift in the gaze. If you fall, you fall. Come back with calmness and compassion. And then when you're ready, step that right foot in front and across the left. Really squeeze the thighs together. And bring the arms up over the head into that lovely big side body stretch. So reaching up and over to the left. Inhale. Exhale, bend into your left knee. So the knee pushes into the back of your right calf. And then start to lift that right foot. Imagine you want to draw a big circle in the sand with your right toes. And circle the leg forwards, out, round, and really far behind you. So you kind of come into this sort of balletic moon curve crescent. Then step back into that right foot, and we're going to drop the left hand down. Right hand goes forwards, up and out. So feeling that full twist through the body. Inhale. Then swim that top arm back and down. And that back arm forwards and up, and let the chest twist the other way. Once more to come back, circle the top arm up and back, bottom arm forwards and up. Inhale. Then when you're ready, step round, loop your right foot up and across the left, and sit into eagle pose. I like to almost bring the hands to touch here. You're really squeezing those thighs together. Take a deep breath in. Sit as low as you can. And then as you inhale, rise up and take that leg all the way back behind you, finding your warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Bend into that underneath leg, extend that back leg back, and fly forwards with the head. Then when you're ready, stepping down through that right foot, lift back up to standing and let those arms relax beside you. Feel that shift from one leg to the other. Nice deep breath in, and then we'll go to the other side. Lift that left heel, turn the left knee out. So you want toes and ball of the foot on the floor, heel resting to the opposite shin. Breathing those arms up, close the eyes. Start to find your balance. And wobbles are good. Remember, it's our cerebellum at the back of the brain, working it all out. If it's new and different, that's good. Then we're going to bring that foot up to the calf muscle as we blink the eyes open, finding that added balance. Taking a deep breath in. And then when you're ready to exhale, sweep that left foot across and in front of the right. Really squeeze those thighs together to reach both arms up and over to the right. Find that big curve up and through the side body. Inhale. And then bend into that back knee, that right knee. Try and push it into the left calf muscle. And then you're going to circle in the sand with that left foot, circling round and back behind you. And step that foot as far back as you can to then lift and open. So your right arm goes back and down, your left arm goes forwards and up. And then a little bit like you're swimming, circle up and back to twist the other way. That right hand comes forwards and up, left arm goes back and down. One more time, up and through. Coming back to center, stepping onto that right foot. Loop the left leg up, round and across, as if you're going to sit cross-legged on a chair. Do whatever you want with your arms. And finding that squeeze, that hug, that low sit. Take a deep breath in. And then we're going to float that left leg back, coming into warrior 3. Bend into that underneath leg, reach the head as far forwards as the back foot is reaching backwards. Inhale, and then stepping down, sweep up to lift. Then sit back, through and down into your lightning bolt pose. Keep coming in and tuck the tailbone under as you breathe length all the way up through the top of the spine, back into that floating frog. And this time sweep the arms back, and as you sweep the hands forwards, come to lower, and sit. But if you roll, you roll. We're going to go with the roll and let it take us all the way down to the ground, opening the arms out to shoulder height. So instead of hugging the knees in, just let them float into that place, nice and close to the chest. And find a nice sway from side to side. Feeling that massage across the lower back. That depth of breath. And maybe let the legs sweep all the way over to each side, taking a moment to pause. And keeping the legs together as you circle them all the way up and across to the other side. Again, taking that moment to pause, to feel, to breathe, to soften. And again, keeping the legs nice and close together as you sweep back to center. And then just extend those legs out and down onto the mat, Reach the arms up over the head. Feel that full stretch in the body. Feeling that full scope of your body's capabilities. And then let yourself soften into that releasing sensation. Breathing as deeply as you can comfortably. Finding that flow of effortlessness. And the moment that you feel ready, just start to breathe a little more deeply. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, sway the head. Stretch and extend. Maybe squeeze those knees back in towards the chest. And you can sway from side to side. Or maybe rock from the head to the hips and gently rock and roll up to seated. You can use your arms to help you, but rising up into your comfortable seated position. So just to close our practice, let's come back to where we began. That comfortable seat with upturned palms. That open gesture of welcoming in the new and different. Not relying on the same things to get us through, but knowing that we are capable of challenges, change. We are capable. Allowing your upturned palms to feel the more subtle sensations without that weight bearing, that holding, gripping. How do your hands feel? Having a dedicated movement practice without hands. It is possible. Let's breathe a little bit of length up through the spine, soften across the shoulders. And as you inhale, circle the arms to connect the palms over the head and hug the hands to heart center. Feeling the hands touching one another, the first thing that they touch in a little while now. And beginning to feel that connection, that sacred connection. Our hands are one of the main ways we connect to the world, so let's make it sacred. I'm going to close our practice, as always, with a mantra. And I'm going to just do a simple Om today. As always, the Om is always open for you to join me. Don't worry about the length or tone of the Om. It's the resonance of the sound that carries the beauty. Om Shanti. Thank you so much.